We'd been aware from some time, from evidence, from surveys we'd been collating, that there have been a number of issues in the town of Peterhead relating to really issues with young people with not enough to do and causing some civic problems in and around the town at certain hotspots during certain parts of the day. The standard approach of perhaps appointing a few community learning development workers to work with young people hadn't always been the best way, and from discussions with the public and private partners had a good talk about using Theatre Modo as a way of perhaps providing a fresh approach to engaging with young people at a particular time of day when otherwise we wouldn't have been able to be active.
Our partners were really keen to develop and deliver a project that would help the affected communities and the young people involved. From this, they also realised that there was links to the community plan for Buchan and the priorities within these, and especially around children and young people, community safety, health and physical activities, as well as our communities.
Theatre Modo had been working in Peterhead on other projects, so we knew about them and we knew they were a local organisation, and we felt that since they were working with youths in Peterhead, they were probably the best people to ask initially.
Partners led by Modo and linking into the wider networks came together with determination and a level of trust which enabled them to share critical key information and evidence to help identify hotspot areas to enable them to effectively engage with young people at the right times.
We identified a couple of places, one up at Eden Park in the centre of the town and Drummers Corner where we're at tonight. Eden Park was a new park that had been established along with kind of community funding, and there was some kind of fires and some vandalism taking place there, so that turned out to be one of the hotspots in the town centre in general as well.
Contrary to expectations, antisocial behaviour was 50% worse on a Monday night than it was on a Friday or Saturday night. And it was really from this data that we were able to target very localised interventions, which were at the right times, at the right days, and in lots of ways using the right activities to engage those young people in the spaces that they were at the times that they were there.
Normal kind of tradition in policing practices don't tend to have a great kind of influence in these things. We deploy our resources there, and all it does is move the problem onto somewhere else. So we were looking for assistance from Martin and his team just to try and kind of get these children involved in some sort of positive behaviours.
I think the thing I want to really stress as well is the overall approach to placemaking that the council and its partners are leading in Peterhead, and how this work very much fits with that.
We decided that we'd go to the park and try and engage them in the place they were at.
Martin deployed his staff and himself there and kind of engaged these kids just to get them involved in something positive, and it's had a phenomenal effect.
The project also helped provide opportunities for our community planning partners to engage with young people during informal and friendly sessions to deliver key messages such as around community safety.
And it's given our officers the opportunity to come along, work with Martin and his team and engage with the kids in a positive way, as opposed to just being the police officers that come and tell them to move on to somewhere else.
Being involved in community groups such as the young people, the participants who are out at Modo, that offers us an ideal opportunity to interact further into groups, quite often vulnerable groups that are difficult to access for services like ours. We are then able to access various properties in certain areas of Peterhead that services have difficulty interacting with.
Well, we sometimes get the fire brigade service thingy down on a Thursday night and they join in with juggling and plate spinning and stuff.
I think it's good as well because people like that coming down as well, it brings more of the public in, more than just people from Modo, it brings them in as well, and then if they're going to see the fire engine or anything, they'll come and join in with fire and that as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to sort of get more and more involved with the participants who are there, so that they begin to sort of trust us as a uniform service, I suppose, and we get to interact with local community youths and young folk.
The Oot and Aboot project has been an excellent idea because it's not every kid that likes to do sports, so the Oot and Aboot's been really good. 50, 60 kids some Monday nights. We have had problems with vandalisms and it's cut down the figures for that. It's been a really good thing. It's got kids just into something, doing something different, which didn't happen before in Peterhead.
It just makes me like focus on my skills more than anything outside. So if there's like anything bad outside of Modo, then I don't really focus on that. I just focus on everything I'm learning instead of that.
Quite a number of people in the community have been speaking to me and telling me the effect it's had on their kids or their grandkids, grandchildren, how it's boosted their confidence, boosted their self-esteem, and actually changed their personalities for the better.
Especially helps them, since they're joining in, stops them from getting into trouble or something.
I used to get in a lot of trouble before I started coming here, and it's pushed me away from that. Well, I used to shout at my mum and that, and since I've been coming here, I stopped that. I used to do the same, and it's just like calmed me down.
And also it like stops you from getting into gangs and stuff, because there's a lot of people that thinks they're like, like hard, like get into like gangs and do bad stuff, but like that stops us because we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, it kind of like helps you, like you make more friends here as well, rather than if you're at school and you're like yourself, you actually make friends here to be friends with anywhere else as well.
Throughout the course of the project, it became apparent that a number of key outcomes were being met, such as young people were being provided with positive interventions. They were also being signposted onto other activities to get involved with and had access to help and support where they needed. Communities really got behind the project, with some members, including parents, providing support from week to week. This helped change perceptions towards our young people and also, really importantly, helped reclaim public spaces back into community use.
Normally we wouldn't let the kids come down to the middle of the town in the night on their own. But as you see behind, there's kids playing, there's kids doing stilt walking, and it's a safer environment. I think it has made a big difference to actually the centre of Peterhead, having things like this on once a week.
Well, what's nice about coming here is like you feel more safe in town, where normally at nights it's quite dark and gloomy. So it's awesome to get a sense of feeling. It's very difficult, especially in places like this where it's cold and not many people go outside. So.
Like it's a wide range of ages. It goes from about 10 to 20 for the people here. So I think it gets everybody involved. It is really good.
There's like less people who sit in like shop doorways and like smoke and stuff and like break windows, as what happened around there just before Oot and Aboot started. So.
Yeah, a lot of people, when I started coming to Oot and Aboot here, like there was a lot of gangs hanging around and just sitting in doorways, and there was like lots of, some folk was even going on like roofs and cracking windows, but
and then the police
like for the last while, like there's been a lot less of that since there's been like Modo, and a lot of the gangs has actually been like joining in with us. So
and then the police started coming down, so like they kind of weren't, they either got told to join in or leave.
What was fascinating about this was, while that was a success in itself, and in lots of ways the activities that we can provide with stilts and fire and everything else is a great risk-taking equivalent to some of their behaviours, it was the unintended consequences that were really powerful, that by us being there, other young people felt safe and happy to use the space, that parents started bringing children to use the park in a different way, that dog walkers returned, and suddenly, because the park was being used by lots of people in a pro-social way, it deterred the antisocial uses in a much more powerful and much more long-term way than us simply working with those young people could have done.
It's kind of safer now as well. Like at this kind of time, people would be scared to like come down here because there's like all the big groups of people that are like kind of scary towards other people. Like they'd smoke and like vandalise and everything. But like with Modo coming down, it kind of stops them. It makes them even get more sociable and being with everyone else, doing things as well.
For a while I didn't like going to like the dark alleys and like this kind of place, because I thought like they would all come up to you and start something or something like that, but now I feel like there's a lot less people that comes round to here, and it's more like a more safe environment.
Even when that like pub was open, it was even scarier when that was open. But then Modo started coming down.
One of the real strengths of this project was the young people that were already engaged with Modo. So we have an active volunteering programme, and we have a team of young volunteers and committed participants, often of similar ages and similar backgrounds to many of the young people that we were trying to engage with. And it was through our young people and through that peer-led process that I think we had a lot of our greatest successes.
So I'm one of the volunteers. I have to try and teach people how to do it, and then once they learn, we try and get them to teach other people so they can fill that role.
It was a bit slow to start with, so there was quite a few unsure people that were kind of looking but weren't necessarily taking part. But after a few weeks and they realised that we were going to be there for a while, more and more people started to join in. So by using the people that were already taking part, they were kind of showing what they could do. So it meant that the other people were a bit more encouraged, or would go over and just have a chat with them and kind of be really casual about it and not force them, and they don't have to sign up. They just kind of, well, maybe you don't want to do it now, but we are still going to be here in 5 minutes if you want to come over and have a shot.
So to start with, we try to get them more relaxed with us, and we talk with them and make them feel more confident, and then easily push them to do stuff. If they don't want to do something at the start, they will do later.
I've seen a lot of the young people grow in confidence. They were really shy to start with and wouldn't really talk to you, and by the end, you couldn't get them to stop talking. They learned a lot of skills, not just practical, but kind of teamwork and stuff like that. I would say that a lot of them made new friends as well, and people they wouldn't necessarily normally hung around with, they started to, and they've still continued to be friends. We also got quite a lot of them turning up to our Thursday night session, which is a weekly programme that runs every year, so they kind of progress onto that as well.
We're working with people of different ages and people from different countries. So yeah, Oot and Aboot turned out to be an inclusive project.
So there's some people that was maybe from the richer end of the town, and some people from the slightly poorer end, and everyone just got on. There was some people came with their families, some people didn't, and there was some people that maybe aren't always well behaved and quite known to the police and stuff that were turning up. And then we also had quite a lot of Eastern Europeans as well, which was really good to see because you don't always see them getting on with each other, and it was good to give them a chance to get to know each other for different things.
We have got a large ethnic population, immigrants coming in to work in the area. They tend to live in small flats and things. There's not much for the young children to do at night, and this is giving an outlet for those children. It's also helping them to integrate in with the local people. So as far as I can see, there's only benefits come from it.
It takes everybody together, it gets the whole town involved with certain things, if it's at night time or even during the day.
When you're here, you get to open up and meet a lot more people, and you learn that a lot of people are quite friendly. It was just some of the people here at Modo, so a lot of them I've made friends with, and they're pretty good, nice people to hang around with.
It's definitely brought people closer together. There's so many different nationalities and things in Peterhead. They've all integrated. I suppose from different schools as well, different areas. Everybody all just pulls together, and they all seem to get on really well and meet people that they probably wouldn't have met had they not come to here, and learn skills that they would never learn anywhere else.
30% of the turn-up was people from international communities, and I think it was a good thing they all turned up, because we made them feel more confident and made them feel like they can fit in the new community.
And there was also a lot more mums started coming along, and then they were kind of having a chat and getting to know each other and getting to know each other's kids and stuff like that, so it was quite good.
We had a Polish girl. She was about 11 years old, and she was always walking about by herself, and she ended up making a lot of new friends, Scottish people and Lithuanian friends, and she felt quite happy with that at the end.
I think it's very good, and it gives me something to do, because I'm very unsocial if I don't do
And something to show off as well, because not everyone kind of learns things like that either. Well, I wouldn't know Megan or Demi, so I'm friends with Demi now. Yes. I wouldn't know her, most of the people here, if I didn't come to it at all. And I kind of got introduced to it when it was in Eden Park for stilts and stuff as well, so I tried it there and then started coming on Thursdays as well.
I've spoke to a few of the girls lately in here, and a lot of them have good confidence now. They'll be able to speak to people because they're working amongst all different types of people in the community, so it brings out the best in the kids and the youths.
Well, since Robin started, she's done every Thursday. She goes to the club. She was doing a Monday and a Friday out at different places around Peterhead. She's included in the Adenine fireworks and Halloween parade, and just loved that with all the rehearsals and the creepiness of it and being a wee bit different and things. So it's been really good for me seeing her grow as a person and seeing her happy somewhere for a change. So yeah, it's been good.
It was definitely a great experience. I've never done anything like that before. It was myself, I made a lot of new friends, met new people.
This project has really been seen as a best practice example that can be replicated and customised to meet the needs of other local communities. And part of this project has also been that we have recognised that there needs to be better information out there for young people to access, and especially around other activities that they can link into on a long-term basis, as well as any help and support that they can access to help meet any particular needs that they might have.
It's been absolutely fantastic. 50 to 60 youths engaged every evening. Been a fantastic, absolutely wonderful thing for the Theatre Modo to have done, and for the youths of Peterhead.
I've got quite a lot of contact and experience with teaching kids in the past, and I can see the positive effect this project has had on a lot of the kids in Peterhead. I think it's had a twofold positive effect really on the kids themselves that are taking part in it, and in the community as well, generally.
It's been a great initiative. Up at Eden Park, we've had no more instances of vandalism or any kind of fire setting within that area, so it's completely transformed that area into a positive environment for the kids to go to. As far as Drummers Corner is concerned, it's been a more difficult nut to crack, but we're getting there. We were getting kind of reports and concerns from the shop owners, from the owners of Drummers Corner themselves in terms of youth annoyance down here. So Martin coming and engaging with the kids has had a great benefit in that regard. We've seen instances of antisocial behaviour drop. We're getting a lot more positive reports from the shopkeepers. And basically the town centre is becoming a lot more vibrant and an encouraging place for people to come to.
It does make a lot of difference. We used to be a bit quieter in the evening time, and after these guys are taking over the Modo and keeping a bit busy for us as well, since the kids are playing around. They're doing a lot of stunts here, and they're coming with the parents sometimes. So it does improve a lot of trade for us.
I just hope it develops and keeps carrying on, because there's a lot of this kind of thing. It could be developed in further ways, you know, and it's all for the benefit of regenerating the town, you know, for the people, the kids themselves, because they're the future of the town as well.
We worked with the police, we worked with the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, we worked with community wardens, we worked with Community Planning Partnership itself, and latterly as well with social work. And I think through a sort of a shared objective, it allowed us to share information and to develop trust through working together. That has really allowed the project to become so much more focused in how it delivers the work, but also so much more joined up in the way that it's able to then deal with the outcomes and signpost the young people onto other activities or other services who can continue to support them to positive destinations in the future.
On a personal level, and knowing some of the young people that have been involved in the Modo Oot and Aboot project, I am very aware that the project itself has provided a real lifeline for many of them, including those who have real difficulties within their home situations, and that this has been really, really important for them moving forward in the future.
No, I just think Modo has improved the town so much that, well, they've gotten people who wouldn't get together all together, so they have done quite a lot for us.
Well, it's enlivened the town centre, and it's got people having more of a pride really in their own community. It's helped to develop that as well.
We'd found our town centre to be lacking in vitality in certain ways, and working on a big scheme to come together, and Modo will be absolutely fundamental to part of that. So not only has this work been helpful in its own way, but it's also been a precursor to other things still to come now, and I think it sets the tone for a very good future for the town of Peterhead.